H. Best show of the week between Raw, SmackDown, AEW, and Monday Night Raw. My backlash thoughts and up and coming matches that are taking place on Saturday night's main event, and any other wrestling news and topics I'm going to discuss for today. So first of all, I'm just going to go right into it about Backlash. Backlash was a good show. I liked it. I liked it better than Night One of WrestleMania, and I give it an 8 out of 10. That's a better grading that I gave WrestleMania this year. But in a stronghold, it was very good. And I there was a 5 matches plus the John Cena announcement. The John Cena announcement really didn't. It wasn't groundbreaking or newsworthy of anything in my opinion. But we're getting a tournament out of it and another new title belt out of it. I'll discuss more about that when I get deeper into my backlash thoughts and everything about that. So the first match, we had Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker kicking off Backlash. The first hour was free on ESPN2. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, they kicked off Backlash. It was back and forth. Braun, he went for the spear right away. Rollins, he hopped right over him. That's what I noticed. One thing, Brock Breaker, he was trying to go for the spear quite a bit in rounds. He couldn't get rounds. Uh, he went for the spear right away, but Rollins countered to it. He threw him outside the ring, and then it went to a suicide dive. It was back and forth between both men, and then it was the match I expected to start with both high impact and just very fast pace and quick pace by both athletes. Rollins was getting upper hand at most times, but then Braun hit Rollins with a couple belly to belly throws. And then Braun Breaker, he tossed Rollins back in the ring. Breaker hitting the ropes for a clothesline. I thought he was going to go for a spear, but he just clotheslined him. I remember back in NXT when Braun Breaker, he used to run the ropes and clothesline people. That was just a vicious clothesline. He would he would just dominate people with that clothesline. Breaker hitting the ropes, clothesline to Seth. Rollins was on the top rope. Breaker ran up the top rope. He hit the Frankensteiner. Then Breaker was going for spear on the outside, but Rollins, he counted into a super kick. And then Rollins, he hit the ropes, clothesline Breaker, and then Rollins was going for Breaker. Uh, to hit the standing moon. Breaker did hit a standing moonsault, which looked really good. I like that. And then he got Rollins up on the turnbuckle again. He hit the second Frankensteiner. And then Rollins, he went for the stomp. He couldn't connect with the stomp. And then Rollins, he hit a pedigree out of midair because Breaker, he was going for a spear. And then that was a nice counter into the pedigree. Kind of, some people wish Seth would stop doing pedigree, but it's fine. It's I don't mind Seth doing pedigree. And then he got Seth up top again. Seth was going for something on the top turnbuckle. Seth hit his specialty off the top rope for the suplex, and then he won the counter it right into the Falcon Arrow, but Braun Breaker countered right into the Falcon Arrow. And then Rollins was going he went to the second rope trying to go for the stomp, but Braun countered that right into the spear, and he pinned Rollins 1, 2, 3. That was a very good match to kick off Backlash. That was that and the Asuka and the Io. That was probably my 2 favorite matches of the night. And then we had Paul Heyman. He congratulated Braun Breaker and all that. So see where this is going. The feud's going to continue with Division and Rollins, and now we're going to get Street Profits involved in everything. And then the next match was Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. I was kind of a little disappointed how it started. It started with a collar and elbow tie up by these two guys. I wasn't expecting a collar and elbow tie up. I was expecting more just beat down, just started to beat the crap out of each other. But that's what they decided to go with. I don't know why they decided to go that way, but whatever. Uh, yeah, to start, it's Colin elbow tie up. Trick slaps Sammy. Trick stomps Sammy in the corner. And when the crowd chants, "Whoop that Trick," Trick continued. Sammy picks up the stairs. When they took it to the outside, he was going to hit Trick, but he reconsidered. And then Little Yachty was kind of getting in Sammy's business, kind of a little bit in the beginning and pretty much the whole match. And then he hit the neck. Sammy was going for something on the steps, but Trick hit a neck breaker on Sammy. And then he rolled him back in the ring. Sammy hit the blue thunder bomb. He only got a 2 count. And then Sammy hits Trick. He hits Trick with the cane because the referee was tied up with Little Yachty, and he thought that was going to be a 3, but it was only a 2. And then Sammy, he had his attention outside to Little Yachty. Little Yachty was like, "Nope, not going to get involved, not going to do nothing here." But that wasn't the case. And he gave Little Yachty a haluva kick for his troubles. And that was pretty much that. And he went in the ring. Sammy went to go hit his finishing haluva kick, but he missed. And Trick, he hit the trick shot, and Trick Williams retained the United States Championship. And then we are on to our third match of the night. It is Miz and Kit Wilson versus Danhausen and Mystery Partner. Danhausen had a video package of, it was more 80s silent film themed video package of the Crate and how his partner, how he wanted his tag team partner, and what was happening with all that fun stuff. And then Danhausen's entrance hit. He came out in the Danhausen mobile, and the crate was there, and we opened the crate, and it was Mini Danhausen. Excuse me. So anybody who's not aware of who the Mini Danhausen was, the Mini Danhausen was El Torito. He used to wrestle with Primo and Epico back in the early 2010s. And Mini Danhausen, he can still go out there and wrestle really good. So I was excited about that. I love Danhausen. That was probably one of the best parts on Backlash. A lot of people were crapping all over it, and some people backstage, they're like, "This was a waste of time, waste of a spot." Really, waste of a time, waste of a spot. I think a lot of wrestling fans can vouch for this, that all of SmackDown was just a waste of time and a waste of spot, especially all that gingerbread nonsense bullshit. That was a total waste of spot. Whoever came up with that should be relieved of their duties. But don't worry, I'll get to the SmackDown review, and that's not going to be pretty either. So we started the match with Miz and Kit Wilson, Danhausen, Mini Danhausen. Mini Danhausen was on the shoulders of Danhausen. He springboarded off the shoulder to them. He took out Miz and Kit Wilson, and then they brought it back in the ring, splash it off the top to Kit. Kit threw Mini Danhausen back into the crate, and Kit Wilson thought that was gonna be it. And once the Mini Danhausen pushed down the crate again, there was more miniature Danhausens running around and causing chaos all around ringside. And one of the Mini Danhausens up on an announce table, and they one of them jumped on Corey Corey Graves on Wade Barrett knocking him over in the chair. I thought that was pretty funny. And then Danhausen, he knocked down Kit Wilson and The Miz, and then he got the finger poke that he did at WrestleMania to The Miz, and Danhausen hit his finisher move, and Danhausen and Mini Danhausen pick up the victory. Danhausen is 3-0 now in WWE. Love to see it. And the next match was Asuka against Io Sky. This was a tense match. These women got over 20 minutes, longer than most of the matches on WrestleMania for both nights. This one and the Roman Reigns match got the Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu match got about 19 minutes and change, so roughly 20 minutes. Same thing with Asuka and Io. They went a little longer. Crowd chants right away started for Kairi Sane. Back and forth. Asuka was getting the upper hand very, very quickly in the match. Asuka throws Io head first right into the post. They were fighting on the apron, and that was kind of a, it wasn't a nasty or sick bump, but it was like a ooh, it was like a ooh and a ah bump. And then Io was working on Asuka's arm. She was trying for the I think it was like a arm bar or something, but Io countered in that, and she draped Asuka's arm over the top rope, and she was trying to work her over arm in the match. And then Asuka had Io in the Asuka lock, but Io countered. And then she tried to hit the moonsault to Asuka outside. During Io connected, and then she blocked it. And then both of them were fighting on the announce table. And then she went to do the mist again, but Io picked up Wade Barrett's book, and then she blocked that with the mist, so wouldn't miss Io again. And then Io threw Asuka back inside the ring. She hit the bullet train, and then she went up top. She hit the moonsault, and Io Sky got the 1-2-3 on Asuka. And then we had the main, before the main event, John Cena came out. He talked about what the special announcement was. I thought it was going to be for WrestleMania 44, but it was going to be about the John Cena Classic Invitational. So the John Cena Classic, this is going to be between current rosters, NXT, giving the younger superstars more opportunity and everything, and the winner gets a championship. I thought it was going to be the winner gets a championship match against the respected brand's champion, either the World Heavyweight Champion or the WWE Champion, but they're going to get a John Cena Classic dedicated title. So I feel like this is going to be exactly like how the Owen Hart championship is. Just it's going to be represented once a year, and I'm totally fine with that. I hope we get very good matches for this. Not everything is out about this. Excuse me. I hope we get matches between some NXT superstars and some main roster. I don't want to see like a Kit Wilson versus Sheamus for this John Cena tournament. I want to see like a Ethan Page versus a Sheamus, or a Javon Evans versus a Dragunov, or some good matches. Like you could throw one or two BC players in there, but I don't want like how it is in WWE tournaments or King of the Ring, where you got a 14-man bracket and you throw 12 B, C players in there, and you only got one or two star athletes in there. Well, it's like, oh boy, I wonder who's going to win King of the Ring. It's pretty obvious. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll make more of my opinion on that when we finally get more rules about it and everything. Then we had Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. It was a good match. Right from the start, Fatu he went for the Samoan the Samoan choke, the tongue and death grip right away. I knew that was going to come back and bite Fatu in the ass. The more times he was gonna try for it, it was just gonna backfire eventually. I went for the tongue and death grip right away. Roman takes Fatu. Uh, he took him outside, and then he slammed me right into the post, and then he slammed his hand into the ring post, so he couldn't try to apply the tongue and death grip anymore. And then Roman is working over Fatu in the ring, and the Fatu clothesline splash Roman with the running attack in the corner. And then Roman got up. Then Roman caught Fatu with a Superman punch. And then he kicked out at 1. So that was pretty interesting. Fatu power, and then they start to fight on the outside a little bit more. And then Fatu, he was just starting to kind of turn it up in the second gear. And then he was just beating the crap out of Roman. And then he picked him up and powerbombed him through the announce table. And then he got him in the ring. And then Roman hits the spear on Fatu, only for a 2 count. And then Fatu got up. Fatu hits the Samoan drop and the moonsault. Roman kicks out at 2. Fatu hits the swanton to put Roman, but he hits the swanton, but Roman got the knees up, and Roman was holding his knee. So I thought that was going to play a little factor in the match, but it didn't. Then Fatu put the tongue and death grip on Roman again. He countered, and then Fatu, he threw him right to the ref, but it wasn't a ref bump. He kind of caught himself running the referee. The Roman hits the Superman punch and spear, and then Roman he got caught in a death grip again, rips the top turnbuckle off, and then Roman slams Fatu head first into the exposed turnbuckle, and Roman won. Then Fatu hits Roman Reigns, won the match because of an exposed turnbuckle. And then once the match was over, Fatu was like a wild animal. He hits the referee. He threw Adam Pearce outside the ring. And then he continued the tongue and death grip on Roman Reigns. And then he held the world title and he licked it. If he only knew what that world heavyweight title has been, he would probably rethink licking that belt. But hey, to each his their own. And that was Backlash. I gave that a 8 out of 10. Okay, so one thing I'm gonna start adding to the weekly podcast episode. I'm gonna review Raw, SmackDown, and Backlash, and out of those 3 shows, I'm gonna pick my favorite of the week, my favorite weekly show. So I'm gonna review them, and then I'm gonna tell you what I liked of my favorite episode of the week was. So, boy, where should we start with this? Raw, SmackDown, or Dynamite? We might as well start with Raw. I'm gonna go backwards today. So we had Roman Reigns show up. He got out of the car. He's like, "Where's my world heavyweight title?" I guess Roman's too lazy to carry the world heavyweight title around with them. So some random schmuck backstage gave Adam Pearce the world title, gave the Roman. Adam Pearce wanted to fire Jacob Fatu for what he did to him at Backlash on Saturday. Roman's like, no, you can't fire him. He's like, he has to acknowledge me first by the end of the night. Okay. And then the division kicked off Raw. Division, they were in the ring with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was talking how dominant Braun Breaker was over Seth. Then the Street Profits, they interrupted Division and Heyman. They wanted tag team belts and everything. And then I think it was Fury or Logan Paul saying that Montez Ford has to come to work because Bianca Belair, she can't pay the bills anymore. So Montez Ford, he has to work. And another funny part in that was that Logan Paul, he's like, "What's do you got anything special in that red Solo cup besides your balls?" So I thought that was pretty funny. And then randomly, Joe Henry comes out of the audience by the announce tables, just singing "Fire Logan Paul." Then we had a 6-man tag match with Division and Braun Breaker and Joe Henry and the Street Profits. Double teamwork on Ford by Logan Paul and Breaker. Breaker Joe hits a fall away slam and a nip up. He hit that on Theory, and he tried to hit that on Logan Paul, but then he gets attacked by Theory. Braun was going for the spear, but Rollins came in from the crowd. And then the referee saw this plain as day, and he saw the official saw Rollins hit Braun Breaker with a super kick, and no disqualification, no nothing. I don't know. These referees, they must be blind or something. Go figure. And then he was going for the spear, and then they threw Angelo Dawkins back in the ring, and then Theory was going for his finishing move. But Angelo Dawkins, he got the roll up on Theory for the win. And then Rollins got in the ring. He super kicked Breaker. And then that was into that. It was a solid match. It was not too special. And then Pierce was talking backstage to the original Grande Americano. And then later that night, we had a impromptu title match. El Grande Americano OG against Dominic Mysterio for the AAA World title. And then Liv Morgan was with them. And then I don't know what way they're going with Liv Morgan. The poor girl has no competitors, no nothing. She's just there. I'm glad she's there on Raw to give Raw some boost, because Raw's kind of a flat show. And then Penta came out, and then Penta was talking about the Intercontinental title. He's a fighting champion and everything. And then we got Ethan Page came out. So that was going to set up Penta versus Ethan Page, but Ethan Page is like, wait. I don't want to do that here. I want to do that at Saturday night's main event against you, Penta. And then Rusev came out. Then Javon Evans came out. And then Rusev was like, I don't like how you're getting a title match before me. Ethan Page, he's like, yeah, I don't. You know what? I talked to Adam Pearce. I don't want to cut in front of you. So tonight, I was kind of thinking it would be you versus Penta, but Javon Evans came out. He's like, you know what? No, it's going to be Rusev against Javon Evans. So that was the match. Javon Evans won. It was a very good match. Rusev was working over Evans on the ropes. Evans hit the version of a whisper in the wind. Evans is just so gifted, so talented in the ring. You can't even say the boy's bouncy. The boy's way beyond bouncy. Anyway, Evans followed up with the Hurricanrana, and then Rusev taunted Evans. Evans hit a springboard kick and dive over the top rope, and Evans hit the OG cutter for the win. Not special, but that keep giving Javon Evans wins. And then ESK and Asuka were talking backstage. I love how Asuka had her original NXT makeup. It was just a line just going across the face. I like that. Very original by Asuka. Is Asuka done? A lot of people say she's retired. She's done. She's part-time. Some people say that she's done because TKO asked her to restructure her contract. I didn't hear anything about that. I don't see any reliable sources that's saying that. I think Asuka's retired. She is back in Japan now, I believe, to take care of family or friends. So we probably won't see Asuka for a long time. I'd be surprised if we see Asuka for the rest of this year. I mean, Asuka's 45 years old, so her career is kind of winding down. So the next we had Brie Bella Paige making their way to the ring. And this is when the show was kind of stale and stagnant. There was more. I heard more loud noise out of the birds outside my window than I did the crowd for this segment. They were outside talking. Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez, and Raquel Rodriguez came out. They wanted the tag team belts, and they started the brawl. Liv Morgan got involved with it. She hit a code breaker, and she hit Oblivion, and the Judgment Day stand tall. So it's only a matter of time before we get end page. It's. I hope it's a good match, but I have low expectations about that. And then we had Sol Ruka via Sayo Sky. Uh, Sol Ruka is a very talented young woman. I love Sol Ruka. She gets so many comparisons about Lita, and that is 100% true. I hear people that call her dudes like, oh, she has a style like Lita, she has a style like Jeff Hardy, just the way she wrestles, her gear and everything. And it's for somebody coming up on the main roster and it was in NXT and you're getting praised of your style and your gear are like Lita and Jeff Hardy, that's very good company to be in because you're not going to find two other superstars that you can be in better company with than Lita and Jeff Hardy. Solaruko went for a handstand DDT off the top rope. She did a handstand off the rope, countered that into a DDT, and it looks so great. The sky is the limit for Solaruka. She hit the DDT bullet train. She couldn't connect with that. She went for the moonsault. She hit the moonsault. Solaruka kicked out, and then Solaruka she went for Soul Snatcher. I thought she mistimed the Soul Snatcher again, and then once I saw that, I'm like, two times in a row. But I read online that Io she countered. She didn't counter, but she timed the Soul Snatcher, so she waited for Soul to get up, and then she backed away. So Soul crashed and burned, and then Io went up top for the moonsault, and 1, 2, 3. Io Sky was your winner. And then we go backstage to the streets. Street Profits were talking to Seth. Montez Ford said that Seth Rollins can't be trusted, which maybe Seth Rollins can't be trusted. So we'll see where this goes. I think it's going to be it's going to lead to continue with division and everything, and that's where that's going to go. And then we're still backstage. Becky and Soul were talking. That's going to set up definitely a match between Becky and Soul for the Women's Intercontinental title down the road somewhere. I think it's going to be Clash in Italy, and that's when Soul Ruka is going to beat Becky Lynch. And then Becky told Soul that I see that you're the Janetti of the team. So whatever that is, okay. And this is where the next match. I really wasn't happy about the match. It was Obafemi open challenge against Los Garzas. I mean, what are we doing here with this open challenge stuff with Obafemi? We go from the build up with Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. That was one of the best builds up for all WrestleMania this year. Him beating Brock. And we go from beating Brock, one of the best talents on the roster for many years, to open challenges because that's saying we don't have nothing for Obafemi now. Okay, the first match I really wasn't a fan, but it was against Otis. That was fine. I give it a thumbs up for that. But Adam Pearce came out saying the Obafemi Open Challenge is canceled this week because there's nobody who wants to come out and face you. So Obafemi goes backstage. He founds Los Garza. Manhandle those guys out to the ring. Match lasted 90 seconds. This was a disappointment. They're going downhill with the competitors who Obafemi fights. I hope this doesn't last long. I hope it's done in the next 2 weeks. You could throw Sheamus out there next week. You could throw Omos out there. You could get somebody from AAA. You can get somebody from NXT. I don't care who. This is ridiculous. Obafemi is way better than all this stuff. Like, who are we going to get? We're going to get Tozawa. We're going to get somebody on SmackDown. We're going to get Kit Wilson. Please. It's the match was over 90 seconds. Obafemi tossed him in the ring. He was tossing these guys around like a 5-pound bag of sugar. Obafemi, he hit each of a match. Not much I could say about it. Next match was Dom against OG Americano. Dom and JD were walking backstage, and Dom was walking. It was a couple of steps at JD, but Balor came out of nowhere, blindsided JD right into the containers, and then Balor threw him over more containers, and Dom just left JD there pretty much dead. Excuse me. And then we had El Grande Americano against Dominic Mysterio. I liked the match. It was your basic match with Dom. El Grande Americano, OG. He was getting the upper hand. He was working on Dom's arm. Dom launched El Grande Americano over the top rope. He threw him right to the ring post at first, to the floor. But he missed. Dom, there was interference between El Grande Americano Kaiser and all the rest of the hoodlums and El Grande Americano's faction, whatever. Primo, Epico, if we want to get serious here, Lua Kaiser interfered. Gable was trying to take the mask off of him, but Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, they interfered to help Dom win, so Dom retained. Nothing too special with that. I can't wait till this mask versus mask match is done and over with, because Lua Kaiser is going to win that one. And I just saw today that come the first Monday Night Raw in June, Chad Gable's returning to Monday Night Raw. So we know what that means. Chad Gable's losing that match, which he should. I'm a very big Chad Gable fan. Chad Gable should have been doing more. Besides this El Grande Americano nonsense. Then we had the main event. Raw was done before 10:30, so that's always good. Roman Reigns, he made his way to the ring with Jimmy, and then Fatu arrives backstage. Jay told him, we want you to acknowledge Roman and this and that and everything else. And Fatu beat the crap out of Jimmy, and then he stormed to the ring to Roman. He beat down Roman. And then the brawl started. Both of them were throwing hands. Fatu sent Roman through the ropes. He hit the suicide dive on Roman. He hit the tongue and death grip. And then he picked Roman up and he threw Roman through the announce table. It looks like he cut his arm open. Not bad, but just enough to bleed a little bit. And he was holding his elbow. So I don't know if he got just a stinger at the elbow or a bruise or something. So I think Roman will be fine. And then he put the tongue and death grip on him again. He just continued to be a ravaged maniac. And then he was walking up the ramp, and then the Usos came out to tend to Roman. I love how they were just sitting, tending to him by the barricade. And then Fatu said, "Heck with this." He ran around, had halfway of the ring, and he just flung himself right into the barricade that toppled Usos and Roman Reigns, and that's how Raw ended. It was a good show, way better than SmackDown. Anything is way better than SmackDown, but Raw is missing a key player of CM Punk. I'm assuming Punk is taking time off. So plus, I think when he comes back, I think he's going to go to SmackDown. I don't even think he's going to go to Raw. So Raw needs some to get some momentum, but Raw's doing fine. Uh, no, I'm gonna go right to AEW. So Tony Khan announced the 2026 Owen Hart brackets for the men's and the women's. These are the men's first. We have Samoa Joe, Will Ospreay, Mark Davis, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Swerve Strickland, Bandito, Claudio Castagnoli, and Brody King. So it's going to be Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay, Mark Davis versus Jack Perry, Swerve Strickland versus Bandito, Castagnoli against Brody King. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out who's going to win the whole thing. Will Ospreay is going to win the 2026 Owen Hart tournament. Swerve Strickland is going to beat Bandito, and then maybe Brody King's going to beat Castagnoli. I'd like to see Castagnoli versus Swerve Strickland, and then out of that, it's probably going to be Swerve Strickland going to the finals, and then it's going to be Mark Davis versus Jack Perry. I think Jack Perry's going to get the win, and then Will Ospreay is going to get the win. Then it'll be Will Ospreay against Jack Perry, and then Will Ospreay versus Will Ospreay. That's going to be a hell of a match. I'm very looking forward to that, but we will see how it plays out. And then we have the women's 2026 Owen Cup performers. We have a couple of Japanese postponed. Azuki. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing them totally wrong. We have Mina Shirakawa. We have Athena. We have Sky Blue. We have Saria. We have Alex Windsor and Willow Nightingale. Maybe I'd like to see Mina Shirakawa win the whole thing, but I think it's going to go to Athena. That's my thoughts on that. So we had AEW Dynamite last night. It was a very good show. I liked it. I give it a 7 out of 10. Dynamite recap. We have MJF. MJF showed up. He kicked things off last night, and he was walking backstage, and the only thing he saw for the first 2, 3, 4 minutes was a whole bunch of bald people, because he's going to put his hair on the line against MJF at Double or Nothing on May 24th. It's going to be hair versus title. MJF faced a bald gauntlet when he arrived, and then we went to a 10-man tag team. AEW World Trios Champions, Orange Cassidy, Adam Cole, Christian Cage, and the Young Bucks. Matt Nick Jackson defeated AEW World Tag Team Champions Cash Wheeler, Dax Hardwood, Psycho Killer, Tommaso Ciampa, and the Dogs, Clark Connors and David Finlay. That was a very good match. A lot of super kicks, a lot of your natural moves on an AEW television show. And then we had Ricochet, Recruits, and Andrade and the Dogs for a Stadium Stampede at Double or Nothing. And then we had if you want to call it a 60-second wrestling match between Speedball and Mike Bailey against Westbrook. Westbrook must have been a local town. I did I didn't catch that who Westbrook was. That match was over and done before you could even blink or go out and get a glass of water or a beverage. Uh, and then TNT champion Kevin Knight had an open challenge. More open challenges. Like, we don't get enough of these open challenges on these weekly wrestling shows. He did an open challenge. He did defeated the Machine, Brian Cage. It was a returning Brian Cage. He's been out for a little bit with an injury. Glad to see him back. He looks very good for himself. I hope Tony Khan starts to push him a little more. Maybe championship gold down the line. Owen Hart Foundation tournament bracket revealed for the men's and the women's. Will Ospreay, he wrestled in his first match in a while. He wrestled Bang Bang gang member Ace Austin. That was a very good match. Will Ospreay won that. And then we had Takeshita. He was in the back. He was ready for his AEW world title. He was talking with the Don Callis family. And then the conglomeration, they make championship plans probably on Collision. Trios match: the Brawling Birds, Jamie Hayter, Alex Windsor, and Sheeta defeated the Triangles of Madness. Tekla, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart by disqualification. I wish they were doing. I'm glad they're doing more stuff with Tekla. I wish they would do more with Sky Blue. I'm a huge Sky Blue fan. I love Sky Blue. Julia Hart's good, but out of all three of them, I like Tekla and Sky Blue. AEW World Championship match: Darby Allin defeated the Alpha Kanushke Takeshita of the Don Callis family. That was a very high impactful match. They hit a suplex off the top rope. Takeshita grabbed Darby in a regular suplex off the top rope, and Darby landed right on the back of his shoulders. And it's a lot of fans were like, "Ooh, oh!" To Darby, that's another typical day at the office for him. Nothing too crazy or special. And then after the match, we hit a contract signing of MJF signs hair versus title contract. Excuse me. And then MJF attacks Darby after the contract was signed. He hit him with the Dynamite Diamond Ring, and he lays Darby Allin out. So on the whole, I liked AEW Dynamite. It was very good. A breath of fresh air from WWE, but nothing too over the top that you have to go back and watch it. The Darby Allin match, yes. The Will Ospreay match, yes. And the rest, you could just catch the highlights on AEW on YouTube. Now comes the bore, the headache, the disappointment, the depression of SmackDown. There's no sugarcoating this. SmackDown is it's a piece of shit. It's pure garbage. It's a dumpster fire. It's just complete nothing. It's terrible. It's beyond terrible. They try every week to, how can we make SmackDown worse and worse and worse, and they are succeeding at it every week. This whole go home show for SmackDown was based off of this stupid gingerbread man angle. So I want every wrestling fan to think, how much creativity did they put into WrestleMania this year? They put bare minimum creativity, thought into WrestleMania this year. Do you know how much thought went into this stupid gingerbread man angle? They put so much thought in this ridiculous gingerbread angle that it is just mind blowing that these people have a creative job in the back. It just baffles me to no end. This for 3 hours, we had to sit through a funeral for this gingerbread man, people mourning, paying their respects backstage to this thing. They even piped in historic moments of Hogan slamming Andre and Austin getting arrested, DX invading Nitro, and you see this stupid fucking gingerbread man everywhere. Brock breaking the Undertaker streak, you see the gingerbread front row. DX, you see him in the street crotch chopping. It is just ridiculous what they've done to this. It's and this was the main event. No match. Just this was your SmackDown event. Yeah, yep. Gingerbread Man angle. People were walking out of SmackDown. They got up and they were like, "This nope, bye." They left the building, got in the car, they went home because they didn't give a shit about this angle. And roughly, I didn't give a shit about this angle. And people thought it was funny, it was great, it was comedy. Sure, whatever. It was garbage. These people should be ashamed of themselves. They should be removed of their job. Whoever came up with this angle should be removed of their job. They should never be able to create or come up with any storyline ever again. Just pure ridiculousness. So this is how SmackDown started. It didn't even start out good. It completely started out like a dumpster fire, and it just went up like a blazing inferno. Recap previous of last SmackDown with Roman Reigns and Fatu. The Usos and Fatu said if the Usos get involved, that it's going to be bad for the Usos and the whole family tree. Basically, Fatu said that I'm just gonna burn the whole Samoan family tree down if you guys get involved. That's why we didn't see the Usos on Backlash, which that was good. We finally had a Roman Reigns match with no ref bump and no interference galore. I was a little bit shocked and taken back from that. And then we had Solo Sikoa in the back with Royce Keys talking backstage. Solo Sikoa is trying to recruit Royce Keys. I hope Royce Keys doesn't. That would bring Royce Keys completely down. Then it was Tiffany versus Kiana James. Tiffany won the match. It was back and forth. The only thing they're doing is they're trying to do something between Kiana James and Julia. I kind of wish Julia would be on Raw because really she's a dead duck on SmackDown. There's no hope for Julia. I would, if I was Julia, I wouldn't be answering my phone at all for a while because it's probably not going to be good for Julia if she does. So that's what they're setting up for. And then it was Talatanga. He was making his way to the ring. He fought Damian Priest. I see a lot of fans saying that there's a study that needs to be done with Damian Priest. Yeah, there needs to be a study done with Damian Priest of how far that man has fallen in a span of 2 years. Go back 2 years ago, he was the world heavyweight champion, but you would never know it. I as soon as he broke away from the Judgment Day and Rhea Ripley, I hate to say, but Damian Priest is on borrowed time. I see the next possibly 2 to 3 years, Damian Priest will not be with WWE anymore. Talatanga, he won the match. Really wasn't nothing too enthusiastic. He told our truth to stay in the back. He didn't stay in the back. The other, what's left of the MFTs got involved. And Damian Priest got distracted by our truth coming out, tried to help him. Talatanga hit the choke slam, 1, 2, 3, and that was it. And then we take it backstage to Danhausen. He was sitting down at a table. He had a paper. He wanted to see who was going to sign up and be his tag team partner for Backlash. And then Miz and Kit Wilson, they stepped in next to him. and Kit Wilson called him toxic. And Miz is like, the only one, nobody wants to team with you. And Kit Wilson's like, the only one that wants to team with you is yourself. And Kit Wilson held up a mirror to him and he looked in it, and Danhausen had a eureka moment there. And then we go to the ring. Paul Heyman, he was making his way to the ring. And then he was talking to Nick Aldis. And then Cody Rhodes, he came out, and then Gunther was watching that backstage to see what Cody Rhodes was saying. Cody Rhodes said Gunther's next in line for his WWE title. Paul Heyman comes out. He gets interrupted by Cody. Cody didn't want to hear a word Paul Heyman was going to say and all that. And then his catchphrase of every week now going forward is, I'm easy to find, I'm hard to beat. And then Gunther came out through the crowd. I thought Cody didn't see him, but Cody was kind of playing a little possum there. He was just looking at Paul Heyman. Then Gunther came through the crowd, got in the ring. Then Cody just turned around and he just started blasting Gunther, going back and forth. And Gunther put Cody in a sleeper, and then Cody took the microphone and hit Gunther with the mic, and he threw him outside the ring. And Gunther kept coming in the ring, but Cody kept defending him off. So that was that. So that's the match is definitely going to be made for Clash in Italy. A lot of people are saying put the belt on Gunther. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Gunther. So if you put the belt on Gunther at Clash in Italy, what is Cody going to do? He's going to chase to get it back before SummerSlam? I don't want to see that. So he's going to chase for the belt before SummerSlam, win it back, defend it at SummerSlam, to possibly lose it to CM Punk. No, I'd rather see Cody win, have another challenger, or maybe start setting something up with Punk by the end of June. Well, maybe end of June or middle of June. And then there's your SummerSlam match, CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. That would be better than whatever this company comes up with. And then we were in the back. Tama Tonga, he wants Royce Keys in a match. It wasn't nothing too off the top. Tama Tonga lost. Royce Keys won because Solo and Talatanga refused to help Tama Tonga with anything because Tama Tonga is on his way out of the MFTs. And after that match, Shinsuke Nakamura was talking to Tama Tonga, and Talatanga said, you don't speak to him. So it's just a whole bunch of nonsense with the MFTs. And then we had Matt Cardona versus Ricky Saints. It was Cardona. He was starting to get the upper hand, but Ricky Saints, he was countering. Cardona, he hits the Rough Rider to Saints, only for a 2. Saints hits the Revolutionary DDT. He hits the Rochambeau. Ricky Saints gets the win. So lost the first week, won the second week. Not bad, 1-1. Let's see what they continue to do with Ricky Saints. Sami Zayn, he was backstage talking to the depressed Johnny Gargano. I think everybody on SmackDown watching SmackDown is depressed watching this garbage. He was just laying there in a crate, and then he started to get Sammy's like, where's this Johnny wrestling that I want to see? Where is it? And then he started to get up, and then he's like, see, he's moving. And then he went to go get Candace, and the Candace like, he's not moving. He's laying there. He's comatose. It's like, yeah, he's not moving. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be moving if they just fly me in for this garbage. And then Paige and Brie Bella came out. They came out talking and everything. They got interrupted by Fatal Influence. and then they got interrupted again by Nia and Lash Legend, and then it was like, uh, sure, whatever. Lash Legend and Nia Jax attacked Brie and Paige. Paige got busted open in the back of the head by Nia Jax. No surprise there. It- People say that, oh, Nia Jax should have been fired. What happens? You're pleading a you're pleading to a deaf choir there. Nothing's going to happen tonight, even though how terrible she is in the ring and whatever else. It's good luck preaching with that. So the prize set up a rematch between Lash and Nia against Brie and Paige, which nobody wants to see. I hope we don't get a rematch with that because that's not worth the time they give those women. Then we had Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, and Flair versus Fatal Influence. Fatal Influence won that match. That was the right decision because we are getting Rhea Ripley against Jade Cargill in a rematch that absolutely nobody asked for. Rhea Ripley got attacked during the match by Jade, and then Fatal Influence, they pinned Bliss, I believe. And then Michin and BFAB, they attacked Bliss and Alexa and Rhea. So we'll be setting up another six women tag team match. Rhea, Bliss, and Charlotte against Jade, BFAB, and Michin. Wonderful. Wonderful. Great. I nothing against Rhea, Charlotte, or Bliss. I love those three women, but I'm surprised BFAB and Michin are still. I'm still surprised that they're still working there and they didn't get the cuts. But people are like, oh, they can't cut them. They got a storyline. Really, they got a storyline. Can you say the same thing that Kyrie's saying? No, they don't care if you're injured or in a storyline. They'll cut you. Then we had the main events of this garbage show. This stupid gingerbread man angle. Gingerbread man funeral was in the ring with a oak casket. The reason why it was oak because Sami Zayn said it was oak. Gingerbread funeral. Trick Williams. He was cutting a eulogy. He was singing with the people in the ring about that. We had a video package of this gingerbread man from birth to his moments in WWE and through school and through college and the whole 9 yards that nobody gave a rat's ass for, and it was just boring. Then Sammy came out. He said this whole thing is a big joke. I agree 1,000% with Sammy saying this thing is a big joke. SmackDown is a big joke. Creative is a big joke. And this is what they do. Sammy came out. He's like, the casket made of oak, expensive. He said everything was expensive. I wanted him to stop dropping numbers and how expensive this stuff was. Oak casket ain't cheap by no means. It's definitely into the 5-digit expense. And then by the end of all this nonsense, Sammy attacks Trick. The gingerbread man is alive. It's Little Yachty. He took the candy cane kendo stick and hit Sammy with it. I mean, what else? I mean, it's everybody who I watched talking about SmackDown, covering SmackDown. We're like embarrassed that we had to talk about this gingerbread man nonsense. So, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, every week I'm going to review Raw, SmackDown, and AEW Dynamite, and I'm going to pick my favorite show out of the week. And by no surprise, it's AEW. I mean, some weeks it could be AEW, it could be Raw. I mean, SmackDown. That's laughable. Good luck with that. It would take when I say it would take a miracle, it would take beyond a miracle, but a miracle is not happening on SmackDown or in WWE in general at all. So AEW is my favorite favorite show of the week. So I talked about the Asuka. I think Asuka's done. She's home in Japan. Really not too much to say about that. Covered the best show of the week. AEW uh, Double or Nothing. They're starting to set up more matches for Double or Nothing. We have a Stadium Stampede match between Jericho, the Hurt Syndicate, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks. So we'll see how that goes against Ricochet, the Gates of Agony, a couple members of the Don Callis family, and the Dogs. That's going to be chaotic. It's going to be crazy. MJF versus Darby Allin. We'll see how that goes. I'll do a prediction video next week, probably Thursday, and I'll talk about it more on the podcast next week. Let's get into some Kevin Nash news. His comments, what he said about TKO. Last week on his podcast, Click, basically he told TKO to stay out of Triple H's nose, stay out of creative, let Triple H create, and basically Kevin Nash told TKO in a good way to go fuck themselves, let Triple H run the company how Triple H sees it, which everything that Kevin Nash says is 1,000% right. Let Triple H run it, let creative run it, let TKO sit back and do whatever they do best besides ruin wrestling. And yeah, that's that. Stephanie Valkyrie may return to WWE TV sooner than everybody thought. She got taken out a couple weeks ago. I think it was the Monday after WrestleMania. She got attacked backstage by the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan, and Roxanne Perez. They were saying that she might miss between 4 to 6 weeks. She might be back by the end of May, so we'll keep an eye out for that. There's really no return date on Stephanie Valkyrie. I mean, maybe they do a match with Liv and Stephanie at Clash in Italy. I kind of would like to see that, but only time will tell when Valkyrie is ready to come back. And some other quick wrestling news and notes here. Swerve Strickland, he was asked the other day about celebrities in wrestling, and his response was pretty much how we all feel. There's a time and place for it all. And Swerve Strickland is absolutely right. There is a certain time and place for celebrities. We don't want to be bombarded by celebrities. And if it was up to me, I wouldn't have any celebrities at all. It's fine keeping them in the crowds where they belong, and that is it. But that's not wrestling now. So time and place for them, absolutely. We don't need them on TV every Monday, every Friday, or every pay-per-view. They're fine in spurts. I'll take them in spurts. But pretty much that's it. We have Saturday night's main event next Saturday. We have 2 matches announced for that. We have the Ethan Page versus Penta match for that. That will be a very good match. I'm looking forward to that. We'll recrown a new Intercontinental Championship. I'll give my thoughts on it next week on the podcast. Plus, I'll have a separate predictions video coming out next week for that once we get the rest of the matches. Then we got definitive titles, Austin Theory, Logan Paul, defending belts against the Street Profits. Are we going to see a title change? I don't know yet. So we'll have to wait and see for that. See how Raw is going to be next week. Dynamite, their go-home show to Double or Nothing next week. And everybody who watches SmackDown tomorrow night, I give you my condolences for that. I give you my praise. Be strong watching that 3 hours. I know SmackDown's going back to 2 hours. Become beginning of July. That's not soon enough. I mean, it's better than 2 hours watching garbage, but it's still going to be. We got 3 hours. It's going to go back to two. So two's better than three, but it's still going to be 2 hours worth of pure disappointment and nonsense. But we can only hope to see how it gets better. That's all I have for today for episode 2. I want to thank everybody watching and listening to Retro Ringside Rewind podcast. Every Thursday, we're going to try to push this out for Fridays, so you can either watch or listen on your car ride or whatever, however you want to. I thank everybody and my team around me. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, X, Twitch, Kick, Threads, the whole 9 yards. We are one follower, one subscriber at a time. And I thank you and all. Have a good night. Take care, guys.